Today we'll be having a book talk about the book The Maestro of Mercy. Okay, it was written by Mujeeb Jaihoon. It's a book about a saint that was in South India. His name was Shaykh Muhyiddeen al-Malabari al-Shadhili. In today's podium we have the writer Mujeeb Jaihoon and our host Mujeeb Jaihoon.
So a very good evening to everyone present here. So I'm very excited to have a really exciting discussion with the author of the book, The Maestro of Mercy. So as all of you know, the book is about a very famous saint who recently passed away and who had an influence over hundreds and thousands of people. And he was a very influential scholar, and from what I understand, he has also influenced the author tremendously. So inshallah, today we are expecting to have a great discussion. So with me, the author Mujeeb Jaihoon is present. And inshallah, I'm going to ask him a few questions about the book and how personal this book is for him. So first of all, Mr. Mujeeb Jaihoon, welcome to this panel talk. So what was the inspiration behind writing a book of this kind? What was the inspiration that led you to write a book about the famous saint Shaykh Muhyiddeen Abdul Qadir?
This is my 11th book in my humble writing career. As I always say, I have not written this book, but I have actually lived and experienced this book. So for me, this was another enriching experience to resurrect my humanity within myself, which goes dormant due to our lifestyle and technology and modernity. So this kind of books actually give me a humanizing experience to when I research about these personalities, when I try to conduct interviews with their friends and disciples about such huge personalities. It gives me great joy in being a human being, having that human experience which is so lacking today, which is so absent today because of our techie lifestyle. And we are become so not materialistic alone, but we have become very mechanical. We are always living in a dual or a trio universe where we are physically one place and our mind is in one place and our heart is somewhere else. This was my humanizing experience, which I believe very strongly in, and I hope the readers also feel their humanity when they read this book.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction for this book. But a lot of people here assume that they must not know who this person is, who this saint is, Shaykh Muhyiddeen Abdul Qadir. So would you be able to give a brief introduction about this person?
It's very difficult for an author to speak briefly about the characters of his book, because that's why it's written as a book and not just a quote. His name was Shaykh Muhyiddeen, and he was natively known as Muhyiddeen Kutty Musliyar or Athippatta Moideen Kutty Musliyar. He lived in Kerala in a humble town in the Malabar district. And I'm not very much concerned about his biographical details as much I am bothered about his spiritual contributions and his humanizing experiences. At the best I can say, Shaykh Muhyiddeen was an excellent, perfect human being. He loved nature, he loved the plants, he loved the cats, he loved the trees, he loved children. As you know, today is November 14th, the Children's Day, celebrated in memory of Jawaharlal Nehru. So he loved children very much, and he often reminded parents about the upbringing of children, and he had good friends among children, and children found a great friend in Shaykh Muhyiddeen, more than the elders. So overall, he was a great light for people around him. And of course, some people believe in his miracles, etc. But for me, it was as the human being within the Shaykh Muhyiddeen who really attracted me. He lived sometime in UAE, the Oasis of Alain, and then later he migrated back to Kerala, and where he continued his educational, his philanthropical, and social reforms. I would like to say his humility, his generosity, and his kindness to anyone. As you read from the blurb of the book, he was kind right from the minute ant until the huge tree. So the ants in his neighborhood to the trees in his neighborhood, the working class, the cats. He was a great cat lover. He loved the cats.
So you talked about the kind of materialistic world that we live in. So how much do you think this book is relevant for a reader, especially living in the modern era?
Shaykh Muhyiddin lived in our times. He is not a very ancient historic personality. So he often interacted with the community. And I would say, again, go back to my initial point of the humanizing experience, the richness of human experience, right? So Shaykh Muhyiddin humanized every aspect of our life. We often divorce spirituality from the human experience. We say something, it is external, it is something, meant for some people. But Shaykh Muhyiddin was a democratic spiritualist. He humanized faith and ceremonial practices, and he found kindness and generosity and love as the core values of faith,
Yes.
of spirituality.
Yes, yes. So the cover of this book is really interesting. So could you please share about the cover of this book and what inspired you to get it done in this way?
So the cover designer, Mr. Mansoor, he has beautifully visualized the life of Shaykh Muhyiddin through this very minimalistic cover. As you can see, there's a tree right in the front, which symbolizes shade, refuge, shelter for the people who admired and loved the Shaykh. And there are three birds flying on the right top. It's not on the left side, it's on the right side. And we deliberately chose three birds over four or two birds because he would prefer a number like that. And then he was a bird lover also. He found mercy and compassion in every creatures created by God. And then there are 7 ants walking below the tree. So the number 7 is also an odd number, which would be the preferred number that Shaykh would choose in case he was asked to count how many ants would we give on a cover like that. And on the back, we just have a tree branch and a cat or a kitten, whatever you call it. So as I said, he had a lot of incidents, episodes related to the cat. And the cat is always a symbol of mercy and compassion. So there was a cat which was, I was told by his disciples that a cat would come and sit on his grave after he passed away.
SubhanAllah.
So even the animals, the small cat and these kind of beasts, they missed him. They missed the Shaykh when he passed away.
Yes, yes. So there are very interesting anecdotes in this book, and I would highly suggest everyone to go through those beautiful anecdotes. However, could you please share the favorite incident, the favorite anecdote from this book, the most favorite for you as an author?
Well, it's difficult to pick an anecdote of that sort because everything is favorite. Of course, Shaykh's life was not just 40 anecdotes. His whole life was anecdotes. So this was quite selected ones, which I found most attractive. I had a personal experience with him, with the Shaykh, on the the blessed night of the Ramadan Laylatul Qadr, while I was spending it in his hometown in a mosque. So he had his prayers and du'as recited, and we all joined him. And then after that, he asked to take some rest. And then again, he woke us up like a father would wake up his children. And then after we said our prayers, and just before the dawn prayer, the Fajr Adhan, I could see the glowworms descending from the skies, and as if it was like a fairy tale. So anyone who spent, I'm sure many of you are here who have spent more time, maybe more than me, with the Shaykh, and for them, every moment with the Shaykh is like a fairy tale. So it's a very magical companionship he would give, and he would advise without offending. Mm-hmm. He would guide you without giving you any pain or without shouting at you. And everything about his life was calm, was soothing, and he was extraordinarily present with an incredible amount of awareness. He was always aware where he was. Part of the problem which we are living during our life is that we are not aware where we are sitting, where we are walking. We are always in two minds,
yes, exactly,
or maybe three minds.
Yes. Okay, so the next question would be that you talked about how much of a spiritual democrat he was. Now it's we're having a lot of leaders coming up in different forms. So how influential was Shaykh Muhyiddeen in his society? How did he influence the people? How did he show guidance and light to his companions and the people who surrounded around his house, whenever he was free to talk, free to engage with the people?
As I said, his realm of influence extended from the cat and the ants until the great mighty leaders of the society. So everyone respected him, although he would never command any respect or any hierarchical or any protocol. He never had any formal assistant or a servant or anybody or followers, disciples always around him. He was a common man, and he would never entertain any form of sectarian, any partition kind of discussions, right? He never liked to hear the complaints about anyone. In fact, he even asked the parents, while you are correcting your children, not to use any cursing words or any bad words on your own children. And he would, if he want to correct somebody, he would just put his hand around his shoulder and talk to him very mildly, very softly, even children. And even huge leaders, when they would come to him and try to gift him something, he would immediately give that gift, share it with the other disciples or other poor people. He never took anything to his heart, and maybe he could have the community's influence in his hands, but he never let them enter his heart. That's what I think. And once I and my father, we visited him with my brother. He would serve the food in one plate and give it to us like we were his family people, right? And I especially remember he was very respectful about food. So after we ate with him, some food grains were spread on the ground. And as I mentioned in this book, he and his grandchildren would peck those food grains, would just take one of them and eat them back. So he would not even waste one grain of food, and he always believed in simplicity. So his greatest message, I think, is that we are all creatures of God and we don't need to be proud about ourselves. And he believed in humanity as a single race. He believed in the unity of humanity. He would talk to the laborers and all the helpers in a very friendly way. And whoever he met, they would all be, like this fairy tale, like just get on the spell.
In awe of him, yeah.
Yes, he had an awe, and he left everyone in a spell, which I think, if children would understand better, he was like those magicians in Harry Potter. He would leave everyone under a spell.
Yes, exactly. That was a good example. So, as a last question, I would like to look in a different aspect. I would like to present Shaykh in a different aspect. I believe he was a very good environmentalist. So, in a world where we live, we're having seminars and conferences about global climate change and how the climate of the world is getting worse and worse as each day passes by. We should actually notice how he treated the environment, how he treated the plants, how he treated the little animals around him. So could you shed some light on it?
There's one anecdote in this book which really touched me. It's about how he respected trees as a living creature. So once in his neighborhood, there was some, I think, renovation going on or some clearing up going on. So the laborer cut the tree branch and he just threw it to one side. He threw the branch to one side. So immediately the Shaykh went up to him and told him very gently that, hey, it's a tree. You got to respect it. So you have to be gentle with even a tree. Forget human beings. So in this world where we are suffering huge miseries and we have conflicts and very difficult situations going on, our kindness and our mercy should extend to even the trees, not just the human beings. We should be kind and should remember that trees are also living creatures. They're also creations of God, and they deserve our concern, our compassion, right? So that I think Shaykh Muhyiddeen would really help to make this world a more compassionate place, right?
Okay. Yes, that's a very powerful statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also would like to thank my friends and families who are sitting here. For those of you who don't know, I will just share this beautiful secret that Musawwir is my son and Muhammad is also my son. They have all the reasons as much as me to sit here because they have worked on this book. They have helped me to compile this book, to get it typed and to edit it and to read through it. And Shaykh Muhyiddin is somebody whom you can gift your children because he was their best friend. And I want to thank publisher Book Plus who have more than agreed to come up with this book because this may not be a global bestseller kind of topic, but however Book Plus has encouraged me to publish this book.
Shaykh Muhyiddin was a perfect human being who was perfect in every aspect of life, be it in treating his disciples, be it in giving companionship, advice, guidance, and light to whoever surrounded him. He also has a beautiful institution back in his town, which is called Fath al-Fatah. There we have hundreds of students studying knowledge under his sons and under his companions. Yes, and very recently they are also launching a school for people who are differently abled, for kids who are affected with autism and other sicknesses as such. So Shaykh Muhyiddin, now the reason why his sons and his companions are taking this initiative is because Shaykh Muhyiddin was a huge advocate of students, of young children who are affected with, who are differently abled. So Shaykh Muhyiddin is indeed a person that all of us should study and take light from, because of course he tried his best to represent, to resemble the qualities of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well.